Hello, class. I had a few questions about task 4 on project 1. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through a sample example of what you could do for task 4 on project 1. So what I did here, I changed my status to student. So everything that you see on my computer is basically what you would see on yours. So first thing we needed to do is go to JetNet, and then we scroll down here to projects. Now remember, I'm just doing task 4. So let me pull up task 4 real quick on this paper here. And you know, of course, you was going to click on Unit 1 project to get this document. Now, on task 4, it says pick two states, one state from the top 25 most populous and one state from the bottom 25 least populous. So I would go here. We would need to go to the second project 1 data. So we click here. All right, so we get our Excel sheet. All right, so I want to pick two states most populous. Okay, it ends at Louisiana. Most populous. Let's see something. Michigan about to get cold, so well, we've been hearing a lot about Georgia lately, so I'll pick Georgia as my most populous state. Now, I would tell you all this. What I like to do just so that I could concentrate on my particular states is that I would get rid of all of the states in the most populous that's not Georgia. So you could click on this number here and then drag it down, right click it, delete, and then you see Georgia here. Go down here, click on the 4, scroll all the way down here to Louisiana, right click, delete, and then now Georgia is the only one that is in your populous states. Now, the least populous state, we got to pick one of those. Let's see. Let's pick Delaware. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think Delaware is the first state of the United States. So I'll pick Delaware since it has such a significance in our country's history. So I do the same thing with Delaware. All right, so now we just have our two states here. Now, you didn't necessarily have to do it this way, but this just makes it a little easier for me. All right, so now we have our two states. Our the next thing we're supposed to do, we picked our two states. It says find the number of representatives elected to the state house. Okay, now we just want the state house. So we can go right here to the internet. Let me pull up something here. And we could say state representatives in Georgia. Now they tell us that, let's see, Georgia. Let me see, how many members? Okay, here we is right here. It's 180 elected members in Georgia. So you'll write that down. So it's 180 for Georgia. Now we want to do Delaware. State representatives in Delaware. Now there is, and I cannot remember what state it is, but there is one state that only has one house. It doesn't have the two houses, but I don't think Delaware is that state. It says how many U.S. relatives. Let me see. House district. Okay. wasn't as easy to look up as the other one was, but let's see if we could find it. House of Representatives doesn't show that here. All right. Okay, we're back here. To find Delaware, I actually was using Enterprise at first, but then I switched over to Chrome, and it gave me here how many are in the House of Delaware, which is 41. So it's 41 representatives in Delaware. So I would suggest possibly that you use Google Chrome to find out how many state reps are in the particular state. Okay, so now with that being said, we need to go back here. Okay, so we have the number of representatives elected to the state house for both of the states, Georgia and Delaware. Now, it says here three. Oh, you're supposed to include your source. So if you did, just to show you this here, if you did a Google search, all you have to do here is just copy this here. Just go up here, copy it, and then put it on your paper. Just copy it and paste it. Because then I would be able to just click on a link and come directly here or wherever you got your information. All right. So now it says pick an apportionment method. Hamilton, Jefferson, Webster. Now this Huntington Hill, we didn't learn that in class, so you don't have to deal with the Huntington Hill method. It's either Hamilton, Jefferson, or Webster. Okay, now I'm just going to do the Hamilton method. Now, if you want to do Jefferson or Webster, feel free, but I really don't have time to do all three methods. So I'm just choosing to do the Hamilton method. Okay, now it says a portion of representative for each state using 50 districts. Now listen, I had said this earlier. It's 25 districts. You don't have to do 50 districts, just 25 districts. Again, let me say that one more time. Do just 25 districts. Do not do 50. Okay, now we're going to get into these districts here. So let me pull this up. Now we will go to Project One data with the random district populator. So we'll click here. Now we're going to open this file. All right, so now we have the 50 district, 25 district. Now I would suggest, so that there will be no mistakes made, I would suggest right clicking the 50 district and delete that off, so you don't even have to deal with the 50 districts. So it's gone. So all you have now is just the 25 districts. Now, what you need to do is to type in the states or highlight and copy the state's population. Let me move this over here. Okay, for some reason, it's not allowing me to move. Oh, there we go. All right, good. Okay, now we got Georgia's population. It's 10,736,100. So we would type that in here, 10,736,100. Okay, and we can press enter. Now that gave us the state population, and now we have our district populations here. Now, I want to show you something. If you go and try and type anywhere in this document, let's say I put F here and press enter, your numbers change. So we cannot type any more on this document because it's going to keep changing the numbers. So this is what I would suggest you do. Hit the plus sign here, and then in this first sheet here, you could double click on the word sheet 1 and then put your state's name. I would say this would be Georgia. Now I will go back to the 25 districts and copy these here, all the way down here to 25. You don't need to copy the total. Right click, go to copy, go over here to Georgia. You'll go down 1 to 26. Now I need you to pay close attention to this. When you right click here and paste here, do not use the first one, because if you notice, the first one here indicates that you need the formula. So you would click on the second one. It would just put the numbers in as is. So now you have the numbers for the district, and you already know what your population is. So now what we need to do first here, since Georgia's name is already down here, we know that you're doing this for Georgia. So we could put SQ for your standard quota, and then we will put LQ for the lower quota, and then we will put UQ for the upper quota, and then we will put the word seats to let us know how many seats each district gets. Now remember, Georgia has 180 seats. We had wrote that down. Now remember, the standard quota, and let me pull this up in the Desmos calculator. Let me see. Yeah. Now the standard quota is the population divided by the number of seats. So our population for Georgia is 10,736,100 divided by the number of seats is 180. So that means for every 59,645 people, you have a seat. So we will put that in, 59,645. All right, now I just typed that here, but let me tell you what we're going to do with the 59,645. We're going to make up a small little equation so we can easily find out what the standard quota is. Now remember, this column here is B. This value is actually B2. So what you would do here, I'm going to put in equals, and then you will put B2, and then a division sign, and then press enter. So now you took that value, 59,645, you would take B2 and divide it by that. That gave us 10 exactly. Now when we scroll down, actually, okay, you're supposed to click in this cell here, and then down here with this big, this black dot is right here. You see how the cross change, it changes to a regular cross, and then you scroll down and let it go, and it'll automatically calculate everything for you. Now remember, with the lower quota, now number one is what I would call an anomaly. Typically, you're not going to get a whole number for your standard quota, but we just so happen to get it here. So basically, your lower quota is either the whole number or the number that's in front of the decimal. So here, this would be 10. The next one would be 56, 6, 35, 3, 22, 2, 14, 1, 8, 0, 5, 0, 3, 0, 2, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, what's that? 0 and 0. Okay, that's a lot of zeros. Okay, now we need to know how many seats we have to see whether or not we could just use our lower quota and be done, or whether or not we need to add values to it. So we will have to put equals, then we'll put the word sum. This column here is D. So we'll do a parenthesis, open parenthesis. We'll put D2 to D26. We'll put a colon and then D26. Close your parenthesis, press enter. Now that's 168 seats. But remember, we need 180 seats. So we would have to take 180 minus 168. So if we took our 180 minus 168 would be 12. So we need 12 additional seats. Now, if you need to see this, because just to be sure, it's 180 seats from Georgia. We have, what's that, 168 seats. Which means we need 12 more seats. Okay, so now since we need 12 seats, remember, with the Hamilton method, it is the highest values behind the decimal that gets counted. But before we do this, we need to do the upper quota for each one of these. So instead of having to type in each number like we did here, what you could do is you could say D2 plus 1. Oh, I'm sorry, I was supposed to put equals. So equals D2 plus 1. And that gave us 11. So we'll click here, go down here to this box here and scroll down. And now it added 1 to each one. So now we have our upper quota. So now remember, we need 12 additional seats. So we're going to look behind the decimal. Now, when we look behind the decimal, I would suggest that we start, and we're going here from the standard quota when we look behind the decimal. I would suggest starting with the nines. And all of your nines, I would click here and then do a fill color. So I will click on the one with the 9. That's here. Click here. That'll be 1. Just keep looking here until you see a 9 behind the decimal. So I would do all 9s first. Okay. So I'll go back and check one more time. That lead number is a 9 behind the decimal. Okay. So it's only 3. So now we need 9 more. Now I would do the 8s. So I will go behind that decimal, find the 8s. There's an 8 right there. All right, now there's only 4, so we still need 8 more seats. Now I'll try the 7s. No 7s. So now I'll try the 6s. There's 1. There's 2. 3. 4. 5. Okay, let's go back and check. All right. Okay, so let's see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so we're 3 short. So now we would try the 5s. Okay, now we look here behind this decimal. We got 1 here, 2 here, 3. All right, let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so we have our 12. So now, the ones that you have here that are highlighted, we know we have to use their upper quota. So what I would do, since these are highlighted, I would go and highlight their upper quota. So that lets me know when I get to the seats that I will count their seats. All right, so now we go to our seats. So there's no highlight there, so we'll use the lower quota. We'll use the upper quota here, which would be 57. Lower quota here, which is 6. Then upper quota, we got 36. Then we got 4. Then we got 22, 2, 14. So we got 2, 9, 1, 6, 1, 4, and then 0, then 2, 0, 1, then 0, 1, 0, 1, then 0, 0, and 1. All right, so now we're going to do a sum here to see if this equals to 180. Okay, so now we want to total up our seats. So we'll put equals sum. Then
Wait,
we would do our parenthesis, and we would
you
have.
you do want to be recording right now, don't you?
I am recording now.
Oh, I didn't see the light come on.
Okay, so it'd be F2 colon, and then it'd be F26, and then enter. So it's 180 seats. This was our goal. So you could leave it just like this. This took care of Georgia. Now I'm not going to go through this whole method again for Delaware, but all you would do is press the plus here, double click on sheets, and then type in Delaware and do the exact same thing you just did for Georgia, except for you're only going to have what 41 state representatives for Delaware instead of 180. So you will follow the exact same procedure, but you have to use the population from Delaware, and then you will have to use that is 41 seats.
I hate to keep bugging you with this, but if I go over the little recording thing, it says it's not being recorded.
Okay, I'm using a different recorder. I'm
Oh,
using,
I'm sorry.
yeah, I'm using Snagit.
It's
Yeah.
so hard to do this
Oh,
because it's so wonderful. I'm sorry.
oh, it's no problem. It's no problem. Yeah, I'm using Snagit instead of Big Blue Button Recorder.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Once again, I'll try to be quiet.
Oh no, that's okay. That's okay. All right. So one thing I do want to show you is this here. Even though I'm not going to go through all the way through Delaware, I do want to go back to the generator. Wait a minute. I think oh, yes. Okay. The generator. You could go back here to the 25 districts, and then what you can do is change the population to whatever the population was for Delaware. And I think Delaware was only, let me see, I think it was only 900 and something thousand. It wasn't, I mean, 980 something thousand. Yeah, 982,895. 982,895. Let me pull that. Okay. So we had changed this to 982,895 and press enter. And then it changed this, and then we will go here and copy all the way down to 26. Go here to Delaware. Go down here to 26. And just as a reminder, right click and you do the second one, not the first. And then now you have a population. And then to get the standard quota, you would take the total population divided by the number of seats. And the total population to get the divisor, you would take what was that 982,895 divided by 41, and then that will give you your standard divisor, and you would be able to divide all of these by that amount. So let me just put that in Desmos. Let me just do that real quick. So it's 982. I think it was 895, I do believe. And then you would divide it by, what was that, 41 delegates. So this would be the number that you would divide into all of these, just like we did in the previous problem. Okay, and I would just say this too. If it's a long decimal, you could copy and paste it over here. So when we're trying to do the population or the standard quota, you could put equals, what's that, B2, divided by, and then you can paste that number and then press enter, and then it will give you this here. Take this down, and then it will give you all the other numbers. And we know that was SQ. And then you know what to do with the rest. So that is basically it. Now, the next part of task 4, after you do all of this, it says compare the results for both states, and then you're supposed to answer these questions. The reason why I'm not going to answer these questions for you is because this is supposed to be based on your opinion. Only thing that I did here was use the hard numbers for you. Now, one thing I do want to say, and I'm just letting everyone know, I'm giving you all a 2-day extension to do this. So this will be, well, matter of fact, I'll just give you to Friday to have this completed, Friday by 11:59 p.m. But I do want to say this part. You cannot use Georgia and Delaware. You can use one or the other, but you cannot use both of them because I just did both of them. So you can use one or the other, but not both. Now, if I look and see that you use both of them, I'm not going to take your project. Now, if you already turned in your project and I notice you did not resubmit it after today because it's actually closed, now I'm going to have to open it back up. But if I look and you use Georgia and Delaware and the turn in date is before today, then I would still accept it. But if the turn in date is after today, I'm not accepting Georgia and Delaware together. So, with that being said, I'm glad that you tuned in into this video, and I hope that this helps. And I look forward to getting your projects on Friday.